let's take a look here as we look at our 60-minute chart of the S&P 500. Gray area being the overnight area and the white area being the actual pit traded timing, that they call it, because I used to be a pit trader back in the old days. Yes, I am a dinosaur. Take a look here at Monday. What happened here was that Sunday night, Monday morning, POTUS came out again, hitting at Amazon. That put a lot of pressure on the indexes overnight, and China came out and retaliated, and ISM numbers came out, and the prices paid surged, the highest in 7 years. Add all of that together, and you had a huge amount of selling that came in on Monday morning. And then Apple came out and said that they're going to use their own chips in Macs instead of Intel chips, and that then put a lot of pressure on Intel, and that continued to weigh on the market as the NASDAQ got hit very hard. Then on Tuesday, there were big swings in Amazon as Bloomberg came out and reported that President Trump is not actively looking for ways to deal with Amazon issues. Later in the week, we heard that he is again. So we had these massive swings in the market right in here, and Amazon leading it, getting hit very hard here, Amazon rallying back really strongly there, and that lifted the market on Tuesday. Tesla news came out. Tesla's been a stock that I've been looking at and talking about all week long, as their production was better. And we're going to show you that Tesla chart in the best for the week, because it was the best stock that we watched for the week. But their production still missed by a ton. They're only making half the cars that they said they'd be making at this point. So I guess they're celebrating that it's not even worse. And there's some talk about whether the cash burn is as bad as they thought. Here's where the China tariff retaliation news came out overnight. The market got slammed on that news again. The Dow was down 500 points overnight, and Kudlow comes out, says don't overreact. We had a huge reversal. This point here to this point here on the Dow, 1,000-point reversal. It was one of those amazing things that we don't see very often, and a huge update for the market coming there as it tested this low. You could see that right over there, and then made a bottom and moved up, and it's starting to define a trading range in there. So trade fear wars ease here a little bit on Thursday, and that helped extend the market. It held up on Thursday, just some choppy action in there. Zuckerberg tried to calm Facebook investors by doing a Q&A, and they got still massive problems out there. And that Dow 1,000-point move is just incredible that we saw in just those less than like 24 hours right over here. And then overnight here on Friday, late Thursday or Friday, President Trump came out with this comment about $100 billion in new tariffs, and then the market sank in a big way. This was a 40-point decline almost instantaneously in the futures, and you could see that it tried to climb back, as it seemingly does all the time, and then got hit again, and now has been very, very bouncy here on Friday, as we now have about 2 hours to go in the trading session. So China, threatens a response. Well, this is just going to go back and forth. Payrolls did come out up 101,000. That was a miss, but March tends to miss, so that's not that big a deal. And there was some weather issues, so I don't think that's considered to be much of a issue right now. And wage growth was up 2.7%, and that is pretty much in line. So there's really nothing out of that payroll number that was, in my opinion, very significant. If we start to get some numbers under 100,000 going forward, and or the wage growth increasing, that is going to be worrisome. And of course, my opinion is that we still have a bear market in the bond market, and if we start to get more wage growth, then we're going to start to see the bond market get hit again. If you want to learn technical analysis, well, this is certainly the place to do it. Our video library, which by the way has 8 categories of videos and nearly 300 videos in there, has got many videos on all aspects of technical analysis, well, that I follow, and I illustrate those on the Thinkorswim platform, but you can really use that information on almost any platform. And if some of these things are a mystery to you, then you're going to be able to learn a lot about that in our tools for tech segment of videos, which has just an amazing amount of videos for you to learn technical analysis. If you want to learn this cycle analysis that I'm going to show you right now, we are in our pre-launch period for our cycle analysis workshop. This is a workshop with 20 video modules. It took me 2 years to write. It took me about 6 months to produce. And it's me sharing my 43 years of study of cyclical analysis with you, teaching it to you on a step-by-step basis. And right now in this pre-launch period, if you go to our website, go up to where it says workshops on the top navigation and click on cycle analysis workshop, you'll see that we're in our pre-launch period and there's a 30% discount. Now that's only for the next week or so. So don't miss this possibility to learn cycle analysis from me. I am one of the experts in this type of analysis, and it'll give you a better market feel, better understanding of markets and the energies of movements and correlations than you will get in any other type of study in the markets. And it looks at both price and time, so you learn to project out in price and time. And there are very few styles of analysis that do project forward in time. So this is something I really encourage you to do. Take this workshop and build your understanding of the markets in a way that you never could before. I promise you, you do this, you will never see charts again the way that you did before. It's a whole different sense of the movements and energies of the market. So go there right now to our navigation up on the top, Cycle Analysis Workshop. Click on that. I do have a video on there. You can learn all about it, tell you about everything that's in the 20 video modules, and you'll be well informed and see this great offer that we have in there. So Cycle Analysis Workshop, go there right now. All right, so now we're going to switch over to the stock market. And we're going to look at SPX, the S&P 500. Now, you've noticed that I haven't shown you the intermediate patterns in here. We're only looking at daily, and we're only looking at basically the widely followed main futures contract as we looked at gold and looked at the dollar and looked at oil. If you want to see all of our analysis in the stock market, intermediate and daily, and look at all of the major indexes, then please do subscribe. Remember, level 2 gets all of our videos, and you then will see that in our Future Speak video, which we do every single Wednesday, which has all of that information in there. So become a level 2 subscriber. Again, write me and you can get half-price trial for a month on that. So we're going to look at a range that I think is setting up in here. And last week, like I said, I thought it was going to rally up into this resistance zone, which we had listed as a sell zone, and that was spot on. You can see that right over there. So what we have going on in here is kind of a battle between these patterns. In other words, this is kind of a pattern that's positive, that big one, and that's the dominant one. This smaller one right in here that you could see rolling over, well, that has another week or so to go. And then this one right in here is also rolling over with another week to go. So we have this fight going on of this dominant rebound essentially happening and this other corrective period right in there. And that's likely to give us a range. And yesterday, on Thursday, I did a stock sectors video that I gave the 19 stocks that I thought were the ones that you could buy to scalp on the long side when this dip came. So if you want to go watch that video, you'll see the ones that I think are buyable for short-term trades, you know, day or two swing trades, or for scalping on the long side. So here's the range that we kind of think is getting set up in here. The outside of it is the high 2600s right there, but this area where we stopped right here at 2672, that really looks like the top of the range to me. This bottom of the range right over here at 2551, well, we're not exactly sure we're going to get under 2600, though there is a pretty good chance of it, because you could see there is some downward momentum that has been here, and the downward momentum remains in force. So what happened is that you could see that red arrow, the momentum turned negative, and then when you get overbought right over here like this in the projection oscillator, the probabilities are extraordinarily high that you're going to move down again. So we're developing this range, and I think that this range is essentially a consolidation range of the big decline that we're in, and that this could last, another week, where chops around here towards the downside. You get another rally over here that lasts for another week. So this is a couple weeks here, and then it starts to accelerate here in April. And again, we think the low is in late May or June, so that's likely to be the time period that the biggest declines are. So we just think we're in this choppy consolidation period right now. There's your resistance zone, there's your minor support zone, here's your 78.6% fib from the weekly, that's held it up there at 2580-ish. So that's your zone, and that's what we think is going to happen. Choppy period in here over the next 2 weeks. That moments of relief when we see somebody like Kudlow come out and give us some bullshit, about whether or not everything is just fine, or we get time periods where the markets get scared. So big choppy zone. I think that you can basically fade both directions right now if you give them room, because there's a lot of extremes in here. And then I would say a couple weeks, the risk will really accelerate to the downside in this market.
I'm going to the city and I'm gonna do a steady show. And I know all my fans wanna learn how to make some dough. I've been cruising